Good morning, everyone. I was sitting at the park and I was having my quiet time and I was reading about Job. And I know a lot of you like, oh, Lord, because every time I read Job, I'm like, oh, my goodness, this man went through so much. I was like, Lord, I don't want to have to go through that. But every time I read this story, it changes. And I just thank God for his word. And today when I was reading, I got towards the end and I got to where he was going to be restored. Now, of course, you'd be like, oh, you want to talk about the happy part. But no, it was what happened in the happy part. Like today was the first day I've ever read this and I was in tears. Now, as you know, Job went through his trials and his tribulations and the enemy was talking with God. And God said you could touch everything around him, but don't kill him. And what do you do when the enemy touches everything around you, but he doesn't kill you? It doesn't feel like you're like, oh my gosh, I'm still here, but why? Like, what's going on with my world? Why is it like this? And the lesson of the story is best explained in Job's response to what he was going through. Yes, he did cry out. Yes, he was like, oh my gosh, what is going on? Why? You must curse the day I'm born. He was human. But what spoke out to me is Job saying, though you slay me, shall I trust you? And when we go through things, that's what we must remember. Though we might be slain in the moment, shall we trust God? Because God is our vindicator. He's our restorer. And all things will work together for the good. And so, he had some friends and his friends came around, and that's what friends do, not knowing in the inside, they might not have your faith or they might not have your relationship with God, but they are going to tell you their real world experience of how they will react. And sometimes those experiences could be good. The information could be helpful. And sometimes it could hurt. But Job, no matter what, he trusted God. And in him trusting God, it brought together how in the end, when God works everything for your good, even though you might have went through hell. But Job 42:10, well, I ain't going to say 10 by itself, but it's 10 and some verses on. I don't know how long, but I was reading. But what made me cry was Job 42:10. And it says, and the Lord restored the fortunes of Job. Stop. Everybody always focuses on, oh, he was restored. But they don't read those words after. And the Lord restored the fortunes of Job when he had prayed for his friends. Now, God was going to curse his friends like real bad. He had 2 friends, whatever. It was going woo, woo. And that wasn't the only one. He had a wise friend, Elihu. Elihu told him about himself. I like that. And that's why I think, my auntie named one of my cousins Elihu. And it's just a beautiful name. Anyways, it says, and the Lord gave Job twice as much as he had before. But what did he do? The Lord restored the fortunes of Job when he had prayed for his friends. And it goes through life and the things that you're going through. So many times we're praying, Lord, help me, this, that, or the other. But sometimes we might need to fix our focus and pray for those around us. Even when we're going through bad times. Even the ones that curse you, that do you wrong, that hurt you, that take you through the most craziest things and you may not understand it. And this is coming from a person I have had to forgive and trust and let God lead me and not my feelings and my emotions at times, which I'm human. Sometimes, it come out. But what I'm saying is God spoke to me today. And when those people do certain things to you or when life is going through, sometimes all the times, if we will fix our focus back on God and back on what he's trying to teach you through this lesson, then you'll start reaping the joy of the experience. Every experience don't feel good, but there's joy in that experience. And when I read Job 42:10, and it says, and the Lord restored his fortunes when he prayed for his friends. It taught me to pray for those who hurt you. They may not have the relationship that you do. They don't know any better. Or though they think they might be doing right, let God be your vindicator. But pray for them. Pray for their salvation. Pray that one day that they will get it. You know, so many times you be like, I wish, boy, I hope they feel, and we want to say those things, but no. Hope that one day that they feel the joy of the Lord, that they will turn from their iniquities and they will turn from their ways. I was going on reading in my study because I just don't want to focus on what he got. Y'all know what he got. Y'all know what he got restored back. Everything plus more. But I was reading and it was just dope that it said, through this traumatic experience, Job developed an even closer relationship with God. And his relationship was closer than anything he had known before. By suffering for reasons that he did not understand, Job learned to trust God more deeply. Let's start looking at the sufferings and the things we're going through and think that it might be building your relationship with God, that you may have a more fruitful, a more prosperous, a more enjoyable life. That you went through that one traumatic experience that caused you to be grateful for what you have and grateful for the things you go through, and look for the lessons that turn out to be blessings in your times of hurt or pain. It said, God never allows his people to suffer without a spiritual purpose, even though they may never understand the reasons in this life. We must trust God in such circumstances, knowing that his perfect justice, he will do what is eternally best for us and his kingdom. Again, he doing what's best for you, even if you can't see it. Job's renewed relationship with God and the blessings that followed point out that no matter what hardships or pain God's followers experience in his own time, he will rescue and restore those whose faith endures. You have heard of the steadfastness of Job. And if you haven't, read this and don't get discouraged. He went through hell. But you'll read about it and you'll see the purpose of the Lord and how the Lord is compassionate and merciful. Every person who remains faithful, and I mean every person who remains faithful to God through these trials and sufferings in life, in the end, you will reap what you sow. And you sowed faithfulness, and you'll reap God's faithfulness. And you will experience the blessings and the spending of eternity with him. Today, I learned through Job's trials, as I end this book of Job, because I'm going through reading now, that if we not focus on what's hurting us in the present moment of our lives, give God the glory, praise him, and ask him for discernment and wisdom on how to maneuver through the problem, and trust him that he's working to benefit for your good. I hope you have an amazing day. I hope this helps somebody as much as it helped me. Pray for your friends. Pray for yourself. When you're going through those times, pray for yourself and pray for others, even if it's that one person who caused you to go through the trial. Everybody ain't, they don't know what to do, and they not going to make the best decisions. But when you got that wisdom of God, you can make the best decision in the worst. I love y'all. I hope y'all have an amazing day. Have a blessed one. Remember, you are fearfully and wonderfully made, anointed and appointed, the head and not the tail, a leader and not a follower, above and not beneath. Now I got to get home and be a mommy. Y'all have a blessed one. Love y'all.